going on, fellow junkies? Horror Junkies 509. Kyle the 13th coming at you again, you guys, today. And today is going to be episode 2 of Franchise Fridays, you guys. That's right. If you haven't checked out my new rendition of the Franchise Fridays, I did Scream on my first one. And today, well, let's get into it. It's Franchise Fridays, you guys. And I figured, it's summertime. It's not quite, July's not even quite over yet. So I better do a summer franchise. And people are probably jumping out of their skin saying Friday the 13th. No. I guess it's kind of similar to it, but definitely not. What franchise am I going to do this time on the Franchise Fridays? Well, I'm going to go ahead and do... Yes, that's right, fellow junkies. This time, I'm going to do the Sleepaway Camp franchise. A franchise I think is very awesome. I don't think it gets enough props, but you know what? It is what it is. And you guys are looking at my collection here thinking, Kyle, you don't have Sleepaway Camp 4, The Survivor. I want it, but I can't find it. I had it on Amazon, and then poof, as soon as I had the money, it was gone. So technically, it's not a real movie. It's just clips of footage that they got done, and then thrown in with clips from the other movies. So, I mean, give or take, I'm gonna talk about it in this Franchise Fridays a little bit, but you know what? It wasn't reason enough for me not to do this franchise. So, gonna do Sleepaway Camp 1 all the way through Return. So, that's what I got. And so, just to go ahead and get right into this Franchise Fridays, you guys. Yes, I came prepared. I went ahead and watched Sleepaway Camp 1. And just let's go ahead and dig right into this, you guys. Just to give you fair warning, this is not a review of these movies. This is a spotlight. So yes, there will be spoilers if you haven't seen it. Especially this first one. Probably skip it unless you don't mind getting the ending ruined for you. But like I said, this is just a spotlight of the franchise, so I'm going to talk about things about it. I'm not reviewing them, and at the end of the video, I'm going to rank them from my favorite to my least favorite. And first time I did this, I went, as I did each movie, I went, alright, this is my favorite, okay, this is my second favorite. I'm going to wait until the end for that one this time. So we'll see how this one goes, and then we can decide which one we like better. So, to get right into Sleepaway Camp 1, this was released in 1983. The director of this movie is, I'm probably going to butcher this last name, so bear with me, Robert Hiltzik. So I'm going to go with that. The only other thing he directed was Return to Sleepaway Camp, from what I recognize. And so that's kind of cool. He did the first one and what we know as the last one right now. So, to get right into this movie, you guys, we are introduced to someone that we need to remember, and that is Angela Baker, and she is played by Felice Rose, and definitely, as far as the character in this movie, definitely want to remember Angela. We got a lot of great characters. Her cousin Ricky is a big one. He's played by Jonathan, another name I'm gonna butcher, Tirestone. I'm just gonna skip it, and let's move on. So, to kind of get right into this movie, guys, like I said, I'm not going to give you the whole plot points, just talk about some great stuff. This is a summer camp movie. All these kids are going to summer camp, and yeah, it looks like a legit summer camp, but this franchise has got it all. The things you want, the things you don't want, everything. In this movie alone, it's got potential child molestation. There's a big creepy guy locking himself in a freezer with Angela, undoing his belt. Whatever, what it is. And then we got, just a killer running around camp, because that's the way these movies go. It's a whodunit movie. We don't know who the killer is throughout the entire movie. We find out at the end, and boy, God. What's something fun about this movie, you guys, is they try to pin it on Ricky kind of throughout the entire thing. But while they're making this movie, anytime the killer was being shown, they used, like, Ricky's hands and stuff like that. They were trying to actually make it look like Ricky was doing it. But we don't find out who the killer is until the end. And, like I said, if you guys don't want spoilers, stop now, because I'm going to spoil the hell out of this movie. So something cool to talk about this movie is the camp is named Camp Arawak. And so, I mean, basically it's just a normal camp. They're having activities and stuff like that. They had a really good tone of, like, a legit summer camp in this. They're playing ball, doing swimming, capture the flag, stuff like that. But in this movie, you guys, there is a body count of 8, so there's a good amount of killing in this movie, and they do a lot of cool kills, a lot of cool creative ones, like some you don't see very often, some you very rarely see, but I mean, they also have just regular knives. So, I mean, not every single one of them is a winner. But, I mean, it is what it is. Some of them are off-screen kills, but you know what? It is what it is. But overall, you guys, this movie is probably one of the coolest franchises I could have picked, because this is not a franchise that anyone told me about. This is one, when I worked at my video store, Hastings, I found it, and this is the cover I saw. And I bought them. You just went ahead and bought them, and that's how I got into this franchise. So kind of getting back into this whole movie, you guys. Twist ending, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and jump right to the twist ending, because that's kind of what made this movie big, because we have 10,000 camp movies. Well, maybe not 10,000. I wish there was 10,000 camp movies, because those are my favorite ones. But at the end of this, you basically find out that Angela isn't Angela. You find out that she was one of the twins from the beginning of this movie. There was a boy and a girl, and one of them gets killed off. You're led to believe that it was the boy who got killed off. Or, sorry, yeah, you were led to believe it was the boy that got killed off, but it wasn't. It was the girl who got killed off, and the crazy fucking aunt in this movie made the boy that survived act like a girl. So, yeah, the twist ending in this movie is that Angela's the killer, and she has a dick. So, now that I watch this movie, every time that Ricky's like, oh, she's shy, or she's just quiet, that's code word for she's got a dick. Because I don't know if Ricky knows it all, but I'm guessing he doesn't. But that's what I'm going with. Those are code words for she has a dick. That's why she doesn't shower with the other girls. She doesn't go swimming. Yeah, she just keeps her mouth shut because, you know what? She's got to keep her boner from popping out while being in the girls' cabin. That's one of the best parts about this movie, you guys. It's just completely and utterly just out of nowhere. And that's one of the things I loved about it. It's just, you don't know anything about this movie, you watch it, and just your jaw's gonna drop to the fucking floor. So that's really all I really want to talk about. Sleepaway Camp 1, you guys. Obviously, I gave a lot of it away, so if you guys haven't seen this movie, it is hereby ruined. I'm sorry, but I gave you a fair warning. But you guys, we got 4 other movies to go, unless I end up with Sleepaway Camp 4 before I get to it, you guys. So, like always, right now, I'm going to go watch number 2, and like you guys, I said before, basically this is going to take probably about 2 to 3 days to watch all 4 of them and come film with you guys, and at the end of it, I'm going to rank them, you guys, so stick with me, you guys, and if this is a franchise you like, stick with me. I got some cool stuff to say about it. One of the franchises I really do enjoy, I'm looking at my notes right now, making sure I covered everything, and I think I did, so that's going to cover it for Sleepaway Camp 1, you guys. Hope you come visit me again for Sleepaway Camp 2. Let's ride on, horror junkies. Alright, fellow junkies, welcome back to camp for Sleepaway Camp 2. That's right, just got done watching this, so let's go ahead and spotlight the hell out of it. Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers. This movie came out in 1988, which was quite a while away from the first one, which came out in 1983. But, you know, you had to figure out where to go from the first one. And if you have seen it, you definitely know what I'm talking about. So, go ahead and check out this cover art, and if you guys don't recognize this, I have recreated this photo, and I will show that right now. Alright, you guys, so, yeah, there's a little treat for you, a little eye candy, whatever you want to call it. So to get right into this, you guys, this movie was directed by Michael A. Simpson, and the only other thing I noticed that he directed was Sleepaway Camp 3, A Teenage Wasteland, but we won't go too much farther into that because we'll get into that on the next part. So, things I want to talk about in this movie, you guys, is Angela Baker is back. But this time, you know, by the way they say it in the movie, she's all woman now. So there's no more awkward girl with the penis scene. So, you know, we got through that and we don't have to go back to it ever again. But yes, she is Angela Baker. She goes undercover as Angela Johnson. I don't know how anyone ever figured that out, that it was Angela Baker. But, you know, it is what it is. She was found out. She is, at some point in this movie, referred to as the Angel of Death. So that she's got herself a little moniker because she kills only the bad kids. Or the kids who catch her killing the bad kids. There's this girl that wasn't a bad kid, she was just gonna tell. So, if you guys know what I'm talking about, the most annoying girl in the world is, I'm gonna tell! It says like 8 times through this entire movie, and it just absolutely drives me crazy. But cool thing about this movie is, she is not played by Felicia Rose. I believe Felicia was probably not quite old enough for this part. So she is played by Pamela Springsteen, which I thought was kind of cool. So get a look at her. Pretty cool that they were able to move the series on. It just kind of wouldn't kind of cool if it was still Felicia Rose. Ricky is not in this movie, so you know it is what it is. But the camp in this movie is Camp Rolling Hills. This camp does not have a lake, so this one is not that reminiscent of Friday the 13th movie to me. One cool thing about this movie is you kind of get a picture from in the cover is, you know, it's got Jason mask, a chainsaw, and a Freddy glove. Is that there's a kind of good old homage to those great slashers in here. There's two kids there trying to scare Angela. One of them dresses up like Freddy Krueger, and the other one dresses up like Jason. Now, Freddy Krueger, mind you, is wearing a baby blue sweater in this one. And then Angela ends up dressing like Leatherface and killing them all. But she's actually wearing someone's face. They never say that in the movie, but I'm just imagining that that's the case. And the Jason's actually wearing like a legit actual hockey mask from back in the day. It's not like the Friday the 13th ones at all, but still. One great thing about this sequel is it brings in some amazing 80s hair metal music. One thing I didn't mention from the first movie is the music in it. It was like, all of it was almost like a complete knockoff of the Friday the 13th music. But this one still kind of has, you know, the regular horror movie music, but it just throws in probably no-name bands. Very rarely do they have lyrics, so it's probably just no-namers playing it, but still, it sounded awesome. The track that's played on the menu of this is just awesome. But as far as sequels go, you guys, this is a really great sequel. I can't say a bad thing about it. It's just a good, fun time. Another campy, fun camp movie where kids are getting slaughtered. And by the plenty, I will say, Angela gets over, well, I don't want to say over, I'm going to say 18 kills in this movie. That is insane for this movie. Angela was working her ass off, and these kills were pretty fun. You know, like, she throws a cup of battery acid in a guy's face. She barbecues two stoner chicks. You know, just different stuff like that. But of course, you know, she gets at him with a knife and stuff like that. Just doing the old slasher thing. So, gotta say, this is a top-notch quality sequel for this franchise, you guys. Yes, like always, every franchise has a little bit of a dud or a low point, but I really don't feel like this one does, unless you want to count Sleepaway Camp 4, the Survivor, but I don't consider that a movie, but we'll talk on that later, you guys. So that's going to do it for my little spotlight of Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers. Onward and march, you guys. Hope you guys will come back to camp and visit me for part 3. Alright, fellow junkies, let's head back to camp. And that's right, Angela Baker is coming back with us. Let's dive right into the third part of Sleepaway Camp franchise. Sleepaway Camp 3, Teenage Wasteland. To get right into this movie, guys, this one came out in 1989. This was directed by Michael A. Simpson, the same guy who directed the last one, Sleepaway Camp 2. Let's go ahead and check out that cover art. It's kind of lame, but you know, whatever. It's all in good. It's a good franchise. So to get right in this, you guys, like I said, Angela Baker is right back with us, you guys. But something kind of interesting about this one, she's not a camp counselor in this one. She actually, her first kills off a character known as Maria Nicastro. And so she kills her and then takes her place, you know, gets her ID. Luckily, they both have the same hairstyle. Like, what would we do if that wasn't the case? So she was able to take her place. She's supposed to be like 21, and then Nicastro's like 18 or 17 in this movie. So that's kind of interesting. And Angela's still played by Pamela Springsteen, which is, yes, Bruce Springsteen's sister, which is pretty cool for this movie franchise. I don't know what else Pamela Springsteen's done. I'd have to look at her IMDb, but yeah, she played Angela 2 times, and that's pretty cool. So to get into this one, you guys, the camp in this one is called Camp New Horizons. This camp is basically like taking a group of poor kids and then a group of rich kids and kind of putting them together, and it's all about like caring and sharing. They do like trust games and stuff like that. But a cool thing about this is it is filmed on the same location as the last camp from part 2, Camp Rolling Hills. So they use the same location. The main camp and everything is the same location. But this time they're sleeping out in the woods and stuff like that. They're camping. And so it's funny because in the last part 2, when they're in the same location, but there was no lake, but now in this one they're in the same location, but there's a lake. I don't know. They definitely should have had the lake be in part 2, I think, because I think it just brings something cool to a camp setting. Anyways, to get right, keep on going, you guys. Like I said, to keep going with this movie, you guys, this as well has some awesome, like, just hair rock music that's just banging throughout the entire thing. Mostly like the intro and the credit scene, but still, I feel like it's got a good character to the franchise. Sorry, you guys, I'm stuttering a little bit, a little tired. One cool thing I really want to mention is one of the characters, Herman. He's one of the owners of the camp. He's played by Michael J. Pollard, and he plays Woody in American Gothic, which is another one of my favorite horror movies. If you guys haven't checked that one out, I highly recommend it. Something else in this movie, you guys, they do what I call franchise acknowledgement. I like it when movies, like in a franchise, like they'll take one and they'll acknowledge like the past movies, which is really always cool to me. I really like that they do stuff like that. For instance, in this one, there's a character named Barney Whitmore in this movie, and that's the dad of Sean Whitmore from the last movie. He said his dad was a cop, and now he's here, and he's a camp counselor. So Angela's really trying to, not make sure that he's not recognized at this point. And another one, while they're fishing in this one, the hockey mask from part 2 as well pops up. So she reels that up on her fishing pole, and a little throwback to part 2, which I thought was really cool. Going into this movie, you guys, this has a 15 body count, so another good set of kills. I will say that this movie has probably the lamest kills in the franchise. I mean, it's still good. I mean, there's still a couple really cool ones, like, Angela buries a lady up to her head and runs her head over with a lawnmower. That's cool. But a lot of them, she's like just hitting kids with branches and stuff like that until they die, setting people on fire, stuff like that. There are some good ones in here, but overall, I'm going to say this is the lamest of the franchise as far as kills, but still a decent body count. I will say that this franchise always seems to have a decent body count. I mean, if nothing else, I really like to say that. So, as far as part 3, you guys, I mean, I really don't have much else to say about it. I really think it's still a decent sequel to the franchise, but, they're definitely starting to get a little wonky as we go on. So that's going to do it for me for Sleepaway Camp 3, you guys. Hopefully, you'll come join me for Sleepaway Camp 4. It is not really a movie, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit, but then we get to go to Return after that. So, hopefully, campers, you'll keep on camping with me, and we'll get through this Franchise Fridays, and hopefully you guys are enjoying it. Come back, guys. Got some good stuff to say. Alright, fellow campers, fellow horror junkies, on our way back to camp for Sleepaway Camp 4. Yes, I don't have the DVD copy of this. Yes, there is one out there, but I cannot find it, locate it in any way, shape, or form. Well, I literally just checked on Amazon, and there is a used copy for $69. Yeah, no. So, to kind of go ahead and get into this one, you guys, Sleepaway Camp 4 is called The Survivor. It either came out in 1992 or 2012. There's 2 dates on IMDb, so I don't really know what to go with. I have seen the production footage of this movie, you guys, so technically I've seen it, because the DVD copy of this movie is just the production footage mixed with clips from all 3 of these other movies that we've just watched. And so technically I guess I've seen it. I really don't know the layout of it. I really do want to get it and see it. I'm not expecting anything good out of it. But just I'm a completist. This is the way I roll. So, I need it and I want it. If you guys know where to find it, let me know. I'm looking out for it. I'm really not going to spend $69 on it. Someone out there's got to just want to get rid of their copy, I think. Because it was on Amazon, and then it was just gone one day. So basically all I really know about this movie, you guys, is there's a character named Allison she has some sort of amnesia where she doesn't really remember what's going on. And just kind of things I picked up from the footage is I'm thinking she's Angela. Like, I feel like maybe just all the things from the past 3 movies just royally messed her up, and she's just back at it again, and she's just, her memories are gone, but, eventually she remembers who she is, and she gets back to killing. But I really don't have anything to say about it other than I want this movie, and I want to see it, but, I mean, I've technically seen it. But whatever, I would love to see the layout of this movie. And I know some people out there have had it, but definitely looking for it, you guys. I really don't have much to say on this movie because I mean, that's all I know about it. So I guess it's kind of cool they did it, but I mean, because basically they filmed for a day on this movie and then the company went bankrupt. So someone eventually just took all the stuff they filmed and put it with a bunch of clips from the old movies and poof, a movie. I think it's kind of cool they tried to make something work, but I just feel like it was all for none. But, you know, I still want it, so I guess that's it for Sleepaway Camp 4. Angela might be in it, Angela might not be in it, I don't know. Let's just go ahead and go return to Sleepaway Camp. Hope you guys will join me for that one. That one's an interesting one. Alrighty, fellow junkies, here we are. Let's go ahead and return to camp for one final time. Let's go ahead and dive right in to Return to Sleepaway Camp. Sleepaway Camp 5. And I'm going to go ahead and say that this one is not liked that much, but I'm going to definitely go ahead and say I'm in the minority. I really like this movie. I didn't really like it the first time. I thought the kid in it was very annoying, but the more I watch it, the more I think he's just funny and, you know, it's just kind of a crack-up movie. This actually is my fiance's favorite Sleepaway Camp movie. So, you know what? To each his own, and I personally like it myself, and Angelina likes it herself. I really like the cover art, and, you know, I really kind of just like this movie. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's see exactly what it might be that I like about it. So this one came out in 2008. The director is Robert Hiltzik, and he's the guy who created Sleepaway Camp. He did the first movie. He's the writer-director. And I think that's kind of cool. One of my absolute favorite things about this movie is it's kind of a reunion of the first one, really. I mean, you got the director, you got Paul D'Angelo, who came back and played Ronnie again. He was the head counselor in the first one, head counselor in this one now. So I really think that's cool. Also, Ricky came back, Angela's cousin from the very first one, still played by Jonathan Tiersten. You know, if I butcher that last name, again, I'm sorry. So I think it's really kind of cool that we get all these old characters to come back for this movie. Whether it's going to be the last one for good or not, I feel like it's a good ending point. I feel like, you know, if this is the last Sleepaway Camp we ever get, it's okay. I felt like it was left on a good point, you know. So on this one, the camp is named Manabe. It's kind of a weird name, but definitely for this movie, it's back to formula from the first one, you guys. It's a whodunit movie. We don't know who the killer is this time. You know, Angela's not even in this movie. And, you know, it's like they throw out a lot of red herrings. They're like, oh, it's this person. They really, really are trying to pin it on this kid, Alan. He's a big fat kid who's just like, he's an asshole, but he also gets picked on. So he's nobody's friend, really. He has no friends. And they really try to pin it on him, make the killer look like him, but the killer is just way too skinny. For him to, like, he's wearing big baggy clothes, trying to make it look like it is Alan whenever you see the killer doing his thing. There was also another girl in the movie called Petey. She's a girl who's always there to protect Alan whenever he's getting picked on. And, you know, Petey, Peter was Angela's original name back when she was a boy. So, you know, it's just kind of crazy on how they go about that. So I think it was kind of cool they did that. Yeah, they just have a few people that they try to pin the killings on. But you know, overall, you don't really find out until the end. And just so you guys know that the end of this will be spoiled. So if you guys don't want to know the ending of it, or if you're actually going to go watch this, stop now. This is my warning to you, and this is probably the only one you're going to get. So body count on this one, I counted up 7, which will make this the lowest body count in this franchise, which I thought was kind of interesting. But kind of back to entertaining kills. I really like the kills in this movie. He drops one guy in a frickin' French fry fryer, his face into it, and I thought it was kind of cool. Very reminiscent of the very first kill in the first Sleepaway Camp, where the cook gets covered in all the boiling hot water, so kind of similar in a weird way. But to go ahead and get right back to this, guys, the end. I just want to go ahead and tell you, there's a cop throughout this entire movie. And, you know, he's there for, like, originally, like, doing, like, a why not to smoke seminar kind of thing. And then so, you know, he's kind of sticking around because all the killings start happening, and so he's trying to find out who the killer is. He brings Ricky back into the story, all that. So he's kind of sewn throughout the entire movie. But awesome thing about this movie is at the end you find out it's the cop, but it's not the cop. This person is dressed, alright, this is just how I'm going to say it. Angela is disguised as the cop. She's got the whole makeup thing done, and Angela, she's still a girl in this movie, even though she's dressing up like a guy. So she didn't go back to being a boy or anything like that. She's still a girl, and she escaped from the mental institution, and she got dressed up like the cop, and she's just been running through this camp, killing everybody. And really something cool about this is Felicia Rose, Felissa, however you want to say it, came back to reprise her role as Angela for the first time since Sleepaway Camp 1, and I think that is absolutely awesome. So, like I said, the reunion, we had Ronnie back, we had Ricky back, and we had the original Angela back. So, awesome that this is kind of a reunion movie, even though it's really not, this one's not very loved by everybody. But you know what? I enjoy it, and I think it's an awesome addition to the Sleepaway Camp franchise. I really hope we get another one of these, and something this franchise really needs is one of the documentaries, where it goes through the whole franchise, and, you know, talks about it, has all the people come back, kind of like Crystal Lake Memories, His Name Was Jason, Never Sleep Again, those. I think this one is just itching for one of those. I hope they make one. Alright, you guys, so that is my completed Franchise Fridays of the Sleepaway Camp franchise. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to tell you my ranking of all these movies from my favorite to my least favorite. Number 1. It shouldn't be no surprise. Sleepaway Camp 1 is my absolute favorite Sleepaway Camp. It's got the best of everything, in my personal opinion. I think the story's the best, the kills are awesome, and I just feel like, you know, just that whole beginning of it, it just was such a knockout of the park with the twist ending and everything, that it's just got to be my number 1. Alright, you guys, taking the second place in my ranking is going to be Sleepaway Camp 2. I really think that's a really solid sequel for this franchise. And, you know, it was starting to get a little silly, but I think it still kept the integrity of the first one, in my personal opinion. I don't think it went too far off. And then number 3 is going to be Return to Sleepaway Camp. Like I said, I really do like this one. Even though it is really hated throughout the fandom, I still think it's rad, and I like it a little more every time I watch it. So, that was number 3. So, number 4 is going to be Sleepaway Camp 3. I really don't hate this movie, but I just, you know, it just gets so ridiculous in this one. It's just hard to watch sometimes. But still rather enjoyable. It's just the point where they get really bad is part 3. And so that would make my very least favorite Sleepaway Camp 4, the Survivor. And so that's going to do it for my ranking, you guys. That's going to do it for my Franchise Fridays on Sleepaway Camp franchise, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I know they get a little long, but I really try to make each installment short, sweet, and to the point, and not very long. And I try to make it as entertaining as possible. I'm always looking for new ways to make it a little more interesting. So if you guys have any ideas, put them down in the comments. If you guys have any questions about this franchise or any comments or anything at all, just leave them down in the comments, you guys. I'd love to get back to you guys on it. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this. If you haven't checked out my first one, I did Scream. So that one was really cool. This is the bigger franchise. This technically has 5 movies in it. So, a little bit bigger. Once I get crazy, I'll do Friday the 13th. That one's going to take quite a while, though. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this spotlight on the Sleepaway Camp franchise. Hopefully I didn't ruin it for any of you guys. I tried to be upfront about spoilers. But definitely, if you haven't checked this franchise out, I definitely recommend it. And that's going to do it for me. Actually, one more thing. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, you guys. I'm always trying to do stuff on there. So, if my videos aren't coming out fast enough for you, check me out on Instagram. I always got stuff going on. So that's going to do it for me. Horror Junkies 509, Kyle the 13th, signing out. Just until next time, you guys, and you already know it, I've been sentenced to life. I'm a horror lifer, and I go to Sleepaway Camp. You guys have a killer day.